What's up again, everyone? How's it going? Welcome back to this obscure random channel. I want to play something for you.
I spent my whole career thinking I wasn't shit, basically, to myself. I wouldn't give myself props, you know what I mean? Because it was like, it was like the struggle. I was surviving, you know what I'm saying? But I also had to thrive. Like, that was my goal. Like, I was so ambitious. You know, I wouldn't let myself have a moment of reflection or like of peace. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I could also look at that like as a moment of weakness or rest. You know what I'm saying? So, but eventually, you know what I'm saying? Allowing myself to be proud of myself was a huge weight off my back. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of the most intense moments of my life. Granting myself that moment, like, it wasn't about. And look, granting myself that moment, it was not about pride or narcissism or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It was about being tender to myself, recognizing, bro, all that fucking torturous work, sacrifice, you know, that all the shit I've been through over the last decade, whatever, like, it might have actually been worth it. You know what I mean? So it was me basically in front of the mirror with a simple, well done, I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? And it took over a decade to get to that point.
I'm going to tell you, this song is called Karma Legend, and it's by Prof, which I actually wrote Prof and his company, Stophouse Records, to ask if I could use clips of their music in my video, which is a step beyond what a lot of people would do. Most people would just put a clip in there, but I really don't play other people's music. The effort that they put into their music, whether it's rap, heavy metal, you know, country music, it doesn't matter. I guess I could get into music, but I don't want to go that route because this is more about you and me and our perceptions of ourselves and each other. This is the last song on Prof's new album, which is called Powderhorn Suites. Now, I wasn't familiar with the guy until a month or two ago. My friend had sent me an email saying, hey, you know, this LP is for sale. It's a signed LP or limited edition. Him and I collect LPs. I have a lot of records. So I don't just buy a record just because it's valuable or because it might be or because it's signed. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is, do I like the artist? So I checked him out, and my friend and I usually like similar things, and I did like him, but that's all beside the point. This is the very last song on the album, and he's talking about how it took him a decade to recognize that he was a valuable person, that he was a valuable human in society, that what he'd done. Sorry, I got to turn the record off here. I think it's on repeat. Close the LP. I found that was very humbling for him, but just that line, I hadn't really listened to the album much, but that part of it really gave me perspective on what I was going to talk about anyway. The irony is that, you know, not irony, I hate using that word because it's always used incorrectly. Irony is when something is unexpected, is when it's the opposite, rather, of what you would expect. So, at any rate, we're all critical of ourselves. And for a rapper to come out and say, hey, I thought I was a piece of shit and I didn't know anything about, you know, I couldn't give myself props and it took me a decade to do so. That's something that, even though most rappers won't talk about and most musicians won't talk about directly, it's in there. The effort they put in. Can you imagine being a person who becomes popular overnight or maybe gradually, like the Grateful Dead, for example, who had tens of thousands of fans at every concert waiting to hear them play? The idea that you put yourself down at a point. You start thinking, should I have this ability to express myself to this many people? I haven't put in enough time. Let me compare that to YouTube, for example. When I first started my channel and I had maybe 5 subscribers, I could say anything I wanted. And I felt like it didn't matter. You know, I could talk about any subject. And since I only had a few subscribers, people, you know, could listen to it or they wouldn't. It wouldn't matter to me because it was my heartfelt, I don't know, perspective. And over the years, as I gained more subscribers, even though I still only have 20,000. And some people have said, you have 20,000 subscribers. That's an accomplishment. To me, it's nothing. I mean, it's a lot. I shouldn't say it's nothing. I don't mean that. I mean, to me, I've looked at it as I've failed. My YouTube channel has failed. In other words, I see people who have a couple thousand subscribers, and a year later they've got 200,000 subs. And so my question is to back up and say, what have I done wrong? You know, what am I talking about that's wrong? Or how am I not promoting myself well enough? How am I not doing what I like to do to its full potential? And it sounds cheesy to a lot of people, and that's part of the insecurity. Why should I make YouTube videos and make a living? You know, people say, well, why don't you get a real job? Why don't you, work a 9 to 5? And it's hard to explain to people that that's just not in my heart. I just don't have it. I spent a lot of years working in construction and various jobs where I'd get up, go to work, and come home. I never felt rewarded. I felt like I was being cheated. I wasn't treated well by my bosses. I wasn't given a fair wage. I was never living to my full potential. But as a carpenter, when I look back over what I had done, and I know some of you have seen my carpentry video, and for those who haven't, I know it's hard for me to define who I am to people, especially new subscribers. I have a video, it's Carpo's Carpentry. I think it's called something like that. You can look it up, and it's where I went through all the books of the projects that I've done in my life. We were in 2 magazines, Oregon Home, which is a major publication here in the Pacific Northwest. And I also had several, high-end clients that I worked for, where I built some amazing pieces of carpentry art that I was kind of let free on and I was proud of. But after a while, I lost faith in that. I thought, maybe that wasn't as great as I thought, and maybe it was part of me getting sciatica and not being able to do the things I wanted to do anymore. Lifting boards, carrying huge stacks of lumber. I mean, I used to be able to carry a stack of 10 2x4s, no problem. But as a guy who's 6'3" with a bad back, I should know better. And I learned. So now every time I want to go back to that, I think, oh, the pain is not worth it. So I put myself down for not being able to do carpentry or I should say work as a carpenter, rather than give myself pride for all the efforts I've made, all the time I've spent, gathering my tools and learning how to do carpentry. I'm getting ready to remodel my bathroom, and I thought about making a video. And I thought, who the hell wants to watch me remodel a bathroom? There are people who would. In fact, some of my most popular videos are ones about carpentry, about my the Krieg jig and woodworking and pocket screws, weird random things. But still, it's just hard for me to get to A to B. Like, I want to be successful by making videos, but that sounds ridiculous, and I put myself down. I think of myself as it's a waste of time, even though that's something that you're watching it right now, right? The fact that people watch videos, that they watch what other people have to say, it shows that people care. So I've been putting myself down for a long time. In fact, this morning, as I was thinking about this, and I don't believe in coincidence, but I have a particular channel that I do watch. Struthless, he's an artist from Australia. And he's been making videos for a couple of years. I've subscribed to him for about a year now. He was talking on his video about how he had 3,000 subscribers a couple of years ago, and then now he has 250,000. And I thought, well, I've had my channel for 10 years, and I only have 20,000. What have I done wrong? The irony is that his video was about imposter syndrome. And if you're not aware of what that is, it means that no matter what you've earned in your life, no matter how hard you work towards what you think is valuable, you're going to put yourself down and think you don't deserve that. And I think many people have had that experience. It's like, once I did get the subscribers I have, even though, and that was the point I was going to make, even though it's only 20,000, I think, I am obligated to talk about important things. You know, I can't just go talk about random thoughts off the top of my head. But there's a part of me that says, yes, I can. I can talk about whatever I want because it's my channel. It's my life. I do what I like. I do what I want. The old Cartman syndrome. But I care about other people's opinions. And I wonder, what have I done wrong to not be successful like a lot of other people have been successful? I struggle over money. I struggle over my future and what I should be doing. There was a time when I thought I should be giving back to the world for the knowledge that I have or the insight and awareness that I have. Then you go through a decade of realizing you don't know a goddamn thing. That I'm almost afraid to share opinions on life, opinions on advice. I'm afraid to share advice, which is really weird because so many people send me private emails and messages asking for advice. And I think, you know, that just, something popped into my head when I said that. YouTube used to have private messages, didn't it? And it also had video responses, where people could leave a video response. In retrospect, I see they shut that down because they just want you moving between video to video to video, consuming content, instead of having a discussion. In other words, it seems to be about distracting ourselves and moving into another, oh, this is what's next, this is what's next. But even though it seems like some of the things I talk about might be fleeting or opinionated, I care about how I'm perceived by the world, I guess. I care about also how I come across, not for the sake of how people think about me. And that's an important distinction. It's not about my ego, because I can walk away from the internet and I still have people that love me. I have my family and my friends. But it's that I want people to respect me because I want people to realize that some of these ideas that I want to share could be valuable to others. But I'm very careful not to say, this is what you need to do to make your life successful. This is how you can be happy. But anyhow, yeah, as I said this morning, Struthless talked about, imposter syndrome and not feeling like you're worthy of your accomplishments. But besides imposter syndrome, there's a lot of different, degrees of this. There's insecurity, there's self-criticism, criticism of your work, your efforts. One of the things I've tried to do is just talk about ideas without having to put a bunch of editing into my videos. I don't want to. I feel like it kind of detracts from the message when I have a big flashing thing, banner up saying what I'm saying. Do you see what I'm saying? In other words, if I say, it's all about having faith in yourself, and then I put a big banner that says, have faith in yourself across the screen. Do you need to hear do you need to see this banner in order to get the message? I guess you do. Not you, but society in general wants to see those things, and that's why other channels are successful. That's why other people have done better. And they also put a little more effort into research at a lot of times. And this it's hard to define where I'm coming from here. I'm not sitting here saying I deserve more or that I should have done better on my channel, but rather a lot of the things that are popular are meaningless. If you just look at the news, what the news talks about, they're going to give you information that might be valuable for a day. If you can look back on a news article from a year ago and it's still beneficial, then awesome. But the news is not designed to improve your life. And many of the videos and self-help gurus out there are following that kind of news trajectory. In other words, do you feel hopeless in your life? Are you depressed? Do you feel insecure? And then that's the title, like, do this one thing to cure your depression, or if you only think this way each day, you'll feel better about yourself in life. I don't know what we can do about that, but I think that, I hope that many of you out there know where I'm coming from as making this video. That the reason I played that clip at the beginning was he spent the last part of the song on the album acknowledging he was ignorant over the last several years about who he was. He wasn't giving himself enough credit. You can wear fake-ass gold chains and jerseys, try to dress like a gangster. You can wear a bunch of hippie clothes and you know, buy, you know, as a trustafarian, as we call them, go out and buy all the hippie clothes and dress like that and walk around at a fish lot and think that you're the shit because everybody thinks, oh, this is an old schooler. Inside, though, we know when we're an imposter. Like, I've earned certain statuses in my life, but that's only through my own perspective. I guess I should just end this on the note of I want to understand myself and my intentions and my needs, but I also have to fit into this society in order to make an income, to make friends, to have a family, understand how the world works. And my only intent here on this channel has always been to try to inspire people to see each other as individuals for what they are, to try to care about one another. And if that means that it's not going to be a famous channel with a bunch of editing and you know, sucking you into some, you know, idea, I don't know. It is what it is. It's my own fault if I don't have a successful channel where I can make a living off of YouTube. That's my own fault. But I use that as my example because it's what I'm doing right now. If my herb business isn't doing well, it's probably my own fault. If my carpentry business wasn't doing well, it's probably my own fault. And most of the things that we do in this life are our own fault, or the failures that we have. And it's not that we can always change that, because I've had some moments of clarity where I think, what else can I do? I only have so much mental power. I only have so much energy, focus. And I guess I should leave you with a message. I've been rambling about, you know, thinking you're inadequate or feeling like you haven't done enough. It would be to appreciate what you have done. The things I have done. The fact that I have done carpentry and I have my stuff in a magazine. The fact that I do know how to build a house. That I do know how to build cabinets. That I know how to do all kinds of woodwork. But I also have worked with stone. I'm learning to work with metal. I've tried. I've really tried. I'm trying to be a human. I'm trying to work as what I consider to be a human being, but also cater to society's needs. I'm not the merch kind of guy, you know. It makes it really hard to make a living. But when you talk about making a living, it sounds shallow and cheesy. Only in certain groups. If you're a rapper and you talk about having money, it's okay. Everybody accepts it. They're like, oh, that's what rappers do. They want a bunch of money. But hippies are supposed to not want anything. Yeah, complete bullshit. It's a facade. I'll get back into this subject in the future, but I kind of hit a dead end here. I don't know what else to say, but I guess this is me opening up saying I'm insecure about my past and my future, and it's okay if you are too. That feeling like an imposter is okay. You don't have to edit or censor any of that in your life. Just acknowledge who you are and do the best you can. Peace out.